Most people are so excited about seeing northern lights, but southern hemisphere also have the same experience. It is called Aurora Australis. We were fortunate enough to catch southern lights in Tasmania. So in this video I'm going to highlight some of the tips you should know about chasing southern lights in Australia. Let's start with forecast apps. It is unpredictable. There are some apps or websites that can predict aurora behavior, but you can't be 100% sure until you actually see it. I will show you what apps I use in Tasmania to catch aurora. Glendale app. This is more of a website than a mobile app that actually predicts coronal holes and aurora in real time. This specific screenshot is taken when there was a strong aurora in March 2021. As you can see, the activity level is set to 4 and it is orange color, which means there is a big possibility of seeing aurora at this moment. When there is no aurora activity, this will show level 0 or level 1 or 2. You don't have to be an expert to read all these figures and graphs you see in this app. You just need to look at the message at the top of the page to see if aurora is possible. This other Aurora app is another mobile app I use. This was taken on the same day. But as you can see, the KP index is low, which is 2. KP index is one index that is used to predict aurora. But this mobile app, I think it is more accurate and useful for northern lights than southern lights. Higher the KP index, the better. Maximum I have seen in this app is 7 in March. But none of these apps are 100% accurate to predict the future activity. So I don't recommend you to visit Tasmania or New Zealand if you're planning a trip to chase aurora in few days. We have been chasing for 7 weeks before we saw our first aurora. Is it visible to naked eye? Well, yes and no. You can see very bright glow and sometimes beams in southern part of the sky, but I have never seen colors in naked eye. For that you need a camera. Even most of the phone cameras is good enough. I use my iPhone 11 nighttime mode, but if you need very good quality photo, then you need a camera and a tripod to get the best quality. Where to see them? You need to find a place where there is a very less light pollution to catch aurora and has a proper south viewing point. I use this Aurora Australis viewing locations map. This has a set of locations in New Zealand and Tasmania and some part of Australia mainland where it is possible to see aurora. If you see aurora, you always need to point your camera to the south. And if it is visible, it will be visible to all locations in Tasmania. You don't have to be in a specific suburb or city like close to Hobart to see aurora. If it is visible to southern part, then it is definitely visible to north part of Tasmania as well, because Tasmania is a very small island. But if the aurora is not strong enough, it may not be visible to mainland Australia. I have seen people from Melbourne also post photos of aurora when the activity is very strong, but if you are in Tasmania, there is a good possibility. Is it only visible in the winter? No. Aurora is active throughout the year. The reason behind seeing aurora in winter mostly because you can only see aurora when it is dark. During winter we have less daytime and more night time. In summer it is the other way around. That is why people have an increased chance of seeing aurora in the winter. But from my experience, I have seen aurora in summer as well. What is the perfect weather conditions? Weather plays a major part in seeing aurora. You need a clear sky and non-rainy weather to see aurora. I remember sometimes we could see aurora is visible as per the forecast apps, but we can't see it in where we live because of the clouds. I always use Tasmania cloud forecast to check cloud cover before going out. Is there anyone I can ask for guidance to chase Aurora Australis? Yes, If you're chasing Aurora in Tasmania, you are not alone. There are a lot of people who are excited as much as you do to see Aurora. Maybe for this first time, maybe they are chasing it for years. There is a public Facebook group called Aurora Australis Tasmania, where you can ask questions, post your photos taken on Aurora. This is the page that made my Aurora dream a reality. This is where I learned about Glendale app, how to catch Aurora and what viewing locations are, etc. Members of these groups are very responsive to your questions, and admins of this group have years and years of experience chasing Aurora Australis. And if anyone sees Aurora, they post a message in the group, so you don't have to always be alert on the notification you see in the mobile apps or read all the confusing graphs and figures. I highly recommend you to join this group and go through the page intro and rules list before you ask any questions, because your question may have already been answered in the intro section. How long will Aurora last? Well, the first time we have seen Aurora, it lasted for 3 hours. Recently, I have seen activity lasting for more than 4 to 5 hours, but sometimes it is just few minutes, like 10 to 20 minutes, so you can't really tell. I hope you will find this video helpful if you're planning to see Southern Lights. I try to put tips as much as I can. I wish all of you can catch Aurora in coming years when the traveling is back to normal again. I really hope it will. Thanks for joining, and see you in the next video.